Save the clock tower. Oh.
It wasn't always an ink place. This place used to be a shoe store. The shoe store has it downstairs. And back in the early 1900s, the owner of this shoe store had a machine that would take a picture of your foot to see how it would fit in the shoes. People say in the basement there's still a radiation machine down there where he took x-rays. Who knows? No one goes down there anymore. We do also have like lots of tunnels that go through here because of the old water system.
Oh yeah?
I'm sure that there's a lot more stories, but the tour was only an hour, so they would only like pick certain things. This here happens to be the Masonic Lodge. You see how this is built?
Yeah, it was Masons.
It is still Masons.
Oh, it's okay.
It's still active Masons. But now we would think of Masons as being some kind of a religious thing, but it was really builders. And this was built just like the Hoover Dam, and it was made by the guys who built the Hoover Dam. So you can see how the concrete was built in layers, how they put the wood in and poured it in, just like they did the Hoover Dam. And this building was made, I think, like 1934 or something. It's pretty old. We got to go inside that one. That was pretty interesting. Oh, 1939. Over here has a little bit of a history. It was a school, and one day a little boy was playing up in the upstairs balcony there, and he fell down and died. Well, the school teacher was supposed to be watching him better, so that really upset her. So supposedly she took a rope to that tree there to the left and hung herself. And every so often people will see a shadow of a woman hanging there. So that's the story with that building. See, that said that used to be a post office, but we didn't have a story about that. I'm taking you up here to the old jailhouse. This was the jailhouse for Kingman for many years. In Kingman, we had the last hanging right there on the doorsteps of this little jailhouse. This man was a miner. He had fell in love with a lady from France. Her name was Jenny. Well, Jenny and him had a falling out because he was drinking too much and gambling too much, and she was a working girl. She was the one making the money. So they had a big fight, and I think his name was Jack. He shot Jenny right in the middle of the street because he came out and told her, "You're just talking me down, and why are you saying that stuff?" And he shot her in the middle of the street. So there was no question about it. He had to get hung. They're like, "Nope, don't keep talking to him.
No touching."
That's our old jail in Kingman, Arizona.
Very cool.
Now, how did Kingman get its name? The railroad had to come through here, and there was a couple of big passes, and so it took a long time for them to build these bridges. This is a World War I monument, I think. It was just recently redone.
pretty cool in there, though.
I really wish we could get in.
Oh, yes. I gotta bump up my screen brightness when I get back in the car.
Just find out, look up your battery. That's what
It's the only resident of that hotel. So this area here was where the Chinese restaurant was. Because they did have a lot of Chinese because the railroad was built here. No one ever thinks about the Chinese, what influence they have on the town. But they had the little restaurant there. And over there is the alley. And for some reason, different Chinese gangs were still here back in the late 1800s. And one of the gangs didn't like the other one, and so they just came in the back door and killed everybody. And that was the end of the Chinese restaurant in this part of
So, do we, and the story about
I'll go grab that hoodie real quick.
okay, the gangster that got ran over,
Okay,
the cowboy.
yes, I can't remember his name. I think it had to do with the Dunbars because they're a big town, a big name in this town. But he was an outlaw, and when he came to town, of course, him and his buddies would go to the saloon down there. And supposedly on October 31st at midnight, he was on the railroad track because that's where all the older homes were, and he got ran over. And the story is every October 31st, you have 4 horses coming down the main road here, and they stop and pick him up, and they all leave, but they leave behind poker chips in the middle of the road. And that's the story about our famous outlaw. This was the first theater that they took down. And one morning, the lady who owned the store came in, and there was a Mickey Mouse, and he was all ripped apart. The crazy thing about it is they have never sold a Mickey Mouse product, but they did show old Mickey Mouse cartoons in this theater. So they want to know, is that because they don't ever want Mickey Mouse again? Will he never be Steamboat Mickey again? You know, these are the times they were saying, you know. Barn Safe and Lock Company.
Yeah, that is very awesome.
Okay.
Tell me about the street.
So this area was called the Red Light District. This is where all of the girls were that kept the miners busy and took their money after they worked all week in the mines. These streets have names like Betty and Evelyn and Martha, and so these streets were named after those girls in later days in honor of that. So you'll see some very small little like stone sheds, and those were actually the little houses. If you see the bigger houses, of course, they've been built later in years. But these were the particular areas where they would have some company for the miners.
I know. Let's see. Oh, that is
So,
big.
like these old
Yes,
ones with
like those up there that
Okay.
are the stone.
So you got your lens cap on.
You won't see great pictures that way.
Don't pick on me.